Hi guys! So in today's video I'm going to be reviewing and testing out a foundation that went a little bit viral towards the end of last year, and it is the Phoera or Phoera, however you pronounce it, full coverage foundation, and this retails for £2 to £3 depending on where you get it. I got this from Amazon for £2, and I also picked up the Phoera Photo Finish All Matte Face Primer as well because I wanted to test this out along with the foundation, and this was £3 on Amazon. I saw this product on YouTube last year, towards the end of last year, and I saw a lot of people raving about it as being a really good full coverage foundation, and for such a small price of £2 I thought I definitely wanted to try it out and show you guys how it performed and whether it was worth the money. So what I'm going to be doing, or what I have already done because I did this yesterday, is I applied both products, foundation and primer, to my face in the morning, and then I wore it throughout the day, and I filmed a little clip at the end of the day to kind of show you how it had worn and what I thought about it. So I'm going to be inserting these clips in a minute, and then I will come back and do a little bit of an outro. Good morning. So it's currently about 10 o'clock and I'm going to do my makeup with these two products, so the foundation and the primer, and then I'm just going to see how it wears throughout the day, and then I'll give you an update at the end of the day. I don't know what sort of time I'll give you an update to show you kind of how the foundation has worn and what I kind of think about it. So the primer actually came separate to the foundation because I bought it from a separate shop on Amazon, and I was pretty shocked at how small it was when it arrived. So this is the primer and this is the foundation. So this is the product inside. So it's just the All Matte Pore Invisible Face Primer. So what I'm going to be doing is putting this on half of my face and then applying the foundation to the whole of my face, so you can kind of see how the foundation wears by itself and how it wears with a primer on. I'm just going to apply this with my fingers because that's how I would usually apply primer. I'm not completely clued up on many different primers out there on the market because I don't really wear primer a lot, although I probably should. But this does feel like a really generic sort of silicone-y feeling primer. I do also have a couple of blemishes at the moment, so it'd be interesting to see if the foundation kind of covers that up. Yeah, interestingly, it feels ever so slightly oily. Almost feels like it's not gonna dry. So we'll just have to see how that works. I feel like I just want to rub it and rub it in because it still feels a little bit oily on the skin. We shall see. Just sort my fringe out. So I used just under a pea size amount, I think, for half of my face. So I don't know how long that would last you. Like I said, it kind of feels a little bit silicone-y on the skin, and it feels like it's not really settled. It feels like it's just kind of oily on top of the skin, but we'll see how the foundation kind of reacts to that and whether the foundation kind of sits on top or not. So I've got the foundation here. So this is the bottle. You've probably already all seen this, and this is a soft matte long wear liquid foundation, and I bought the shade 102 Nude. So obviously buying foundation online is really tricky because you just can't tell what the shade is going to be like. I did a little bit of research and kind of had a look at what other people were buying and what sort of shades they bought in other foundations to kind of see what I would be shade wise. So this is the best that I could find, but we'll see if it's a little bit dark or a little bit light. It does look like it's going to be a little bit dark. So I'm going to apply this using my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, but then I've also got a damp beauty sponge, and I'm going to be kind of applying it with the brush first, and then if I feel like I need to, I can kind of go over with a sponge to kind of make it like a little bit smoother, because some foundations don't work so well with this brush. So I will do that, and I'm going to apply it all over my face the same as I would with a normal foundation, just knowing that that side has a primer on and that side doesn't. So this is the shade that I've got actually it looks quite good. The colour looks pretty close to the colour of my usual foundations, to be honest. Not bad at all. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Slightly on the pinker side, I think, but we'll see when it blends out. That is really quite good coverage, to be honest. What I'm going to do, because you can't see very well, I'm going to zoom in and try and get you to see it covering up my freckles. This is not going to be a good sight. So it's quite thick, and I can see that it may get a little bit cakey if you applied more than one layer. I'm not really going to be applying more than one layer, to be honest, because I feel like it doesn't need it. I do, like I said, have a blemish down here, so I might go over that a tiny bit, but I'm not too bothered about that. Depends how much coverage you need or how much coverage you want. Hopefully you can see from the close-ups, I'm not a beauty guru, so it's pretty good coverage. I would say definitely comparable to, well, to be honest, a little bit better than Revlon Colour Stay, which is my usual foundation. Probably on par with Estee Lauder Double Wear, which is one of my favourites for full coverage. I do love a full coverage foundation. It seems to be drying, so whereas some foundations will kind of just sit on the surface of the skin and kind of move around on the skin, it's definitely not doing that. It's definitely drying. So like, for example, Estee Lauder Double Wear, you would apply that and then it would dry and you wouldn't even really need a powder, which can be good for some people, but for others with really oily skin can be a little bit of a problem. I find that sometimes with foundations like that, around the nose area where you're obviously going to be producing more oil, it can kind of get a little bit like dotty where your oil is trying to come out of the foundation, if you get what I mean. Hopefully some of you will understand what I mean by that. I feel like I don't even need a beauty sponge. And it seems to be applying exactly the same on either side. Oh, that's a look. So where I've applied the primer, it doesn't seem to apply any differently on that side. So I'm just going to get a tiny bit more on the back of my hand and just use the beauty sponge to try and cover up a little bit more of the blemish I've got on my chin. I don't want to overdo it though, because it will start to look really cakey. I've not even commented on it yet, but the colour is a really, really good match to my skin, to be honest. It's a little bit darker than my skin tone, but it's really similar to my current foundation that I'm using, which is Revlon Colour Stay, which is my favourite. And that is a little bit dark on me, the shade that I've got, but I don't like to go too light because it makes me look really washed out. So yeah, this shade is probably the shade that I'd have picked if I could get it from store and try it out there. So I'm actually really impressed with that. It's definitely wearable. I just need to bring it down my neck a little bit, which is always going to be paler than my face because I'm super pale. I'm really impressed with it. I feel like the finish is exactly like the Revlon Colour Stay, which is, like I said a million times, my current favourite foundation. And to be honest, I've been using that foundation for years, and yeah, I feel like the finish is exactly the same as that. It's very matte. It does seem to have dried. So yeah, really impressed with it. The colour is really good considering I bought it online, but I think for the price you could definitely just pick up a few different shades and then you'll be able to find your closest shade that way. For £2, that is brilliant. It'll be interesting to see how it kind of wears throughout the day. I am going to apply a little bit of powder, as I usually would, but I feel like you could get away with definitely not wearing powder with this, because it's definitely really matte. So I will put the rest of my makeup on, I will go throughout the day doing my usual sorts of things. It's a Saturday, so I'm going shopping, I need to pick up food and things like that. So nothing too strenuous, but I'm gonna go about my day and see how it wears. Hi guys, so it's currently pretty much 12 o'clock. So I've had this foundation on for about 14 hours, which is a lot. I wouldn't usually go to bed this late. So apologies for the lighting situation. It's obviously crap lighting right now. But I just thought I'd show you what the foundation is looking like. So I'm actually really pleasantly surprised as to how this foundation has worn. In fact, it's worn amazingly compared to some of my other foundations that I've used in the past, and considering it's only a £2 foundation. So I'll just get my mirror out so I can see a little bit better. So I do look a little bit oily because I am naturally oily, but I haven't blotted my face, I haven't applied any more powder, I just applied a little bit at the start of the day. And to be honest, although it's looking a little bit oily, it's not actually as bad as it would usually be with my colour stay that I use on a daily basis. I feel like it's stayed put really well. It's faded a little bit on the chin, and on the nose it's ever so slightly separated, but actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be at all, to be honest. A million times better than Estee Lauder Double Wear does on me, because that seems to separate really bad on me. But this is really actually quite good. Around the nose area, especially on the primer side, it's actually stayed put really well. So I don't notice too much of a difference between either side, because the primer was on this side and there was no primer on this side. I can only tell around here that it seems like the primer has done a little bit of something to kind of keep it put. On that side it seems to have ever so slightly separated, just kind of in the crack of the nose, and a little bit under the eye it started to like settle in the creases, whereas on this side it's a little bit better. It doesn't help that I've got mascara falling onto my face already. I definitely think it is on par with Revlon Colour Stay. The colour was a really good match, to be honest, considering I bought it online. It applied really nicely, the coverage was really good but not too cakey, but I do definitely think it would be buildable. In terms of oil control, it's actually done a really good job at kind of dealing with that. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow, after I've taken my makeup off and used my moisturiser and stuff, if my skin feels any different. Because it is so cheap, it might cause a breakout, but I'm yet to see that. So what I'm going to do is obviously take my makeup off, I'll wear my usual foundation tomorrow and see if my skin feels any different, see if it does end up breaking out. So welcome back to the present. So as you can see from those videos that I took yesterday of the Phoera foundation, I was really pleasantly surprised with the outcome. For £2, I just think this is such an amazing foundation. The primer, on the other hand, I'm not sure whether it's really worth purchasing along with the foundation. I don't think it really did too much of a difference. So if I was to run out of this primer, I don't think I'd bother repurchasing. I'd probably just try a primer from another brand, but I definitely will be repurchasing this when I run out, because I definitely think this could be one of my daily foundations. As I said in the last clip, I wanted to see whether it would kind of have any sort of negative reaction overnight or break me out or anything like that, because it is such a cheap foundation. But I can positively say this morning my skin felt completely fine. There was no signs of breakouts or blemishes. My skin didn't feel any different to how it usually does. So it all removed completely fine last night and my skin feels completely normal this morning. So I definitely recommend trying this out, especially if you're a fan of like Revlon Colour Stay or Estee Lauder Double Wear, that sort of full coverage foundation, then definitely go check it out because this is fantastic. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below. If you've got any other sort of makeup products that you want me to try out, then let me know. I'm completely up for that. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.